FBN Live. All right, we have to get a little bit more serious now, not a lot more. But look, come next year, your 401k fees are changing, and you're going to start to see different things on your statement, and you need to be aware about it. That's why Marcia Wagner's here, founder and principal of the Wagner Law Group. She's been with us before, first time in studio. Thank you for being here, because the last time you were here, we were talking about all the benefits nonsense that's going on. But let's talk about 401ks, because people are starting to look at their statements again, because the numbers are getting better, right? When the market was crappy, no one wanted to see the statements at all. But now we're looking at them, and we're seeing that things are changing. What's happening?
There are three things happening. There are three levels of disclosure that are changing. The first is, what does the plan sponsor disclose to the government on the Form 5500? The second is, what does the plan sponsor disclose to plan participants?
Like us.
Like you.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is, what does a plan vendor, people that sell product to a plan, what do they have to disclose to the plan sponsor?
Okay, so let's start with the second part,
changing.
because that's really the most important part to me when I look at my statement. So what am I going to see differently there?
What the plan sponsor will see differently in 2012, by the way, there is quite a lead time, is that every quarter, in dollar amounts, the administrative fees that will be charged to the plan are going to be disclosed. And the individual charges to the participant's account, for example, the fees for distributions, for loans, for things like this will all be disclosed in dollar amounts. And then annually, there'll be a huge disclosure on everything concerning investment fees. So, for example, the names of the investment options, how they perform, benchmark criteria, the operating expenses of each investment option, and finally a web-based site that people can go to for more information. This is hugely different than anything we've ever seen
But
before.
why wasn't it disclosed before? I mean, it begs the question, I should know my administrative fees every quarter. How come I haven't? Did I not look in the right place?
No, it was not required to be disclosed.
Really?
Really.
So I pay my 401k administrator, actually I don't even know because it was chosen.
Because it wasn't disclosed and you
okay.
don't know it. I am proving the point.
We have our 401ks through News Corp is with, through Fox is with Fidelity. Mm-hmm. So it's Fidelity then. So in theory, on my statement somewhere, shouldn't the administrative fees from Fidelity been there?
No.
No, because it was not required.
Yes.
So Fidelity wasn't doing anything wrong, really. They were just, they were getting a pass, basically. Yes. Okay, so now, starting next year, so let's say March 31st, first quarter of 2012, I'm going to get my 401k statement.
And it's going to be a lot different than what you've ever seen before.
And so the cost to administer the fund will be there.
Yes.
To cost my account should be there.
Absolutely. And there's more to it. I mean, there's many types of fees that you're unaware of. For example, record keeping, 28 soft dollars. That's the extra commission for investment advice. The 12B1 fees, the distribution costs of the mutual funds, the revenue sharing Fidelity and others engage in. All of this will likely be disclosed in a way that you can understand it, so you know the real cost of your 401k plan. And knowing the cost with increased transparency will likely either bring more and better services or a decrease in cost. So this is actually quite revolutionary.
But is it the kind of thing, though, like say, you know, you're in a company and your company chooses the administrator. This is the kind of thing where if we start to look at these fees, we could get a little outraged and say, look at what they're taking from my account every month. You need to change administrators. I mean, is that the end result?
I think wise plan sponsors and wise financial advisors to plan sponsors are planning ahead. This is going to be effective in 2012, so there should be some type of education to plan participants so they aren't surprised by what they receive in 2012.
So basically you're saying they should lower their fees between now and then?
And or increase services and or provide more education as to what they're getting paid for.
This seems to be one of the only good things I've heard that's come out of all these rules and regulations that have been imposed lately. No?
No.
There's more good things?
There's good and there's bad. There's great complexity in the tax qualified and non-qualified world. And some things are very positive to raise the level of discourse and transparency in our industry. And then there's some that are very negative that just increase the costs and the burdens on plan sponsors. But it's an industry that's very much evolving, and it's a very significant part of our economy that people frankly aren't paying enough attention to. People are paying attention to, how do I invest my 401k?
Right.
But the back office, the legalities, the administration, the operation, that is undergoing revolutionary change and really needs to be discussed
So
more.
all for the better is what you're saying.
This particular change is very much for the better.
So let's talk about now what is being reported, because you gave 3 big changes. The first, of course, now is what the sponsors have to report.
Yes.
Why is that different? They weren't, again, under any kind of realm to report anything, is basically what you're saying.
Prior to this year, on which the employers had to disclose to the government on 5500 information, they only had to disclose what a plan directly paid, which was usually very minimal, or commissions to insurance companies in general. The so-called Schedule C to the Form 5500 was very much revised for this current reporting period, whereby disclosure of almost all types of fees to the government has to occur. And that was a very significant thing and very hard for many plan sponsors to comply with. But again, it's evolving, and it's evolving in the correct direction.
Well, I'm glad then. That's good news, and I'm glad you were here to explain it all. Marcia Wagner, founder and principal of the Wagner Law Group. We typically have a remote. It's great to have you here. Enjoy your time in the city.
Thank you.